Welcome to this episode of ISV Talks. I'm Carol Livingston from Dynamics Connections and your host of ISV Talks. And on today's session, we have two guests. We have Griffin Swanson from Professional Advantage. Welcome back, Griffin.
Yeah, thank you for having me here, Carol. It's only been a few weeks since we last met, but looking forward to today's interview with Fawaz as well.
Yep, and our other guest is Fawaz Hussein from Nodus. So welcome back as well, Fawaz. So I know I just did individual interviews with you, but maybe you could go ahead and kind of reintroduce yourselves again, how long you've been with each of your companies. And then we're going to get into kind of an interesting discussion how you guys are working together with both of your products. Griffin, do you want to start?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, again, thanks for having me on here today. My name is Griffin Swanson. I'm the channel product manager here at Professional Advantage for our ISV add-on modules for both Dynamics GP and Business Central. Actually, just had my 8-year anniversary here at Professional Advantage just a couple of weeks ago. So that's how long I've been in the GP space and relatively new to Business Central, but I've been working in that side of things for about 2.5, 3 years as well. So again, kind of just manage those ISV products, really have a focus around product development, sales, and I do all the demonstrations for those products as well.
Okay, and Fawaz?
Hey, Carol.
Hey.
Thank you for having me back. Griffin, good to see you too. My name is Fawaz, and I'm with Nodus Technologies. I run our sales, business development, and growth for the growth strategies for the company. I have been with Nodus since kind of lost count over the years, but I think it's been around 14 years now. And that's how long I have been in the GP channel. And because Nodus was a credit card processing solution for GP. And that's when I joined about 14 years ago. And on the Business Central side, we have been part of the Business Central community for a little over 3 years now. So pretty much around the time Business Central was started, Griffin and I, both of us have known each other for almost 7, 8 years, I would say. Have been working together, had pleasure to work together with Griffin on these technologies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know you guys started working together, I don't know, several years ago with your solutions. So Griffin, do you want to start out talking about how did you guys come together working with collection management for GP and Nodus PayLink?
Yeah, so I was relatively new to the company when this first integration started, or the talks of this integration first started. My colleague at the time, Matt Green, had kind of taken the initial reins on this and worked with the Nodus team. And I was really kind of getting started with the sales and demonstration side of things with collections management. So it all happened very fast when we first started that integration in 2016. But it was a nice way for me to kind of, dive headfirst into the entire idea of what collections is all about, especially in this type of industry. So we talk about this on our demonstrations, and oftentimes it seems too easy or too simple of how this integration works. But it's been like that from the start when we first started working with them back in 2016, not only from a development side, but just a product use standpoint. We understood how easy and efficient this was going to be working with a company like Nodus Technologies. And we've really just seen that here over the last 7, 8 years of how easy it is to use the integration. So when we first dove into this with Nodus Technologies, we knew they were a good company. We knew they had a good product, and just the use of the two products together has seemingly gotten better as time has progressed. But it's been a good 8 years so far, and hopefully we continue to trend upwards.
Yes, I know a lot of people probably don't even realize or even know about your integration. So I don't know, Fawaz, do you want to talk a little bit about how Nodus PayLink integrates with collection management?
Yeah, absolutely. So collection management has been a very popular tool in the Microsoft GP side. Essentially allows GP users to manage their outstanding invoices and manage their outstanding payments that needs to be collected for the company. Traditionally, collection management was like a collection letter tool that will send letters like a reminder letters or dunning letters to customers who have an outstanding balance. And then we had a tool. So we were a payment processing tool inside of GP. They were a collection tool in GP. Then in about 8 or 10 years ago, we launched PayLink. PayLink is essentially, I joke around and I say PayLink is like Venmo for businesses. Basically, you can send a request to a customer to collect payments, so directly from your from GP. And then about 8 years ago, we joined forces. I've known Matt Green, who was part of Professional Advantage at that time. We met with the teams and we decided that what if we add payment link that we have launched into those collection letters. So now those collection letters are not just reminders per se, but also a tool to collect payments from their customers. Along with the payments, there's a part of payments that's very critical, and that is on the security side. So that's why, and because we are a payments company, we have always had a focus on security, strong focus on security. So we ensure that our applications are always PCI compliant. So that actually was a added benefit for Professional Advantage, where they can have a secure PCI compliant method of collecting payments, or they can offer a secure PCI compliant method to collect payments from customers that are receiving these letters. We plugged it in and it became a huge success.
Awesome. And Griffin, so from your side on the collection management side, so kind of how does it work, as far as, completing that collection action or applying the payment?
It really is kind of a full circle process using the two products together. So as Fawaz had mentioned, we kind of have these collections or dunning letters where we allow you to put this payment link inside of those letters. And the nice thing about the way GP works, it's a simple function. So you can just add that right into your collection letter. And these letters, we like to refer to them as kind of email templates, right? You're using the same ones over and over again, or at least using them on a regular basis. And including this payment link, it allows customers to make payments on one or several invoices. And the nice thing about that for them is you don't have to log into a portal or any sort of website. It's just a web browser that pops up with all of the invoices attached via that collection letter. So then once the customer receives that, they can actually click on those payment links, review the outstanding invoice details, and then make a payment on that via credit card or via e-check, which is cool the way that Nodus has set that up. They have those payments automatically applied into GP. And if you look at our collections management tool, what we have is a collection task window, basically your to-do list for the day when it comes to your collection activities. And if those activities are tied to specific invoices, what collections will do is actually go back and look at all of the invoices that have been fully applied via the payment links or via that credit card / e-check payment. So collections will then recognize the payment, automatically completes those collection activities. So as a collector, you start your day, you come in and you see your task list, you can actually see all of your collection activities that were already completed based off of the integration of customers paying via that pay link. So, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but it is truly that easy. You're putting a function in a collection letter, sending it off to your customers. They make payment via the payment link. That's fully applied in GP. Collections recognizes it and completes those tasks.
Amazing. I feel like when I talk to partners that they don't realize that this functionality exists. So is it very expensive?
Well, I'll let you speak to that. There's no additional costs on the collections management side of things, so it's completely free for us to turn that integration on the collection side. Outside of owning both modules, Fawaz, correct me if I'm wrong, no additional costs on your side either, right?
Yeah, no additional cost. Obviously, the standard payment processing cost associated, but that's just like you paying your payment, your credit card bill, but no additional cost. And the amount of, but the ROI that you get on the solution itself. So in the payments world and accounting world, there's a KPI that companies follow is called DSO, Days Sales Outstanding. That essentially is basically indicating how long has it been since the time you have invoiced and from the time of invoice and collecting payments. So basically, the longer the DSO, that means that it's been taking you a long time to collect payments from your customers. So the longer the DSO, the more problematic, right? So we have done numerous studies and we have seen our customers improve their DSO, which essentially helps improve cash flow for the company. And then also like taking all these remedial tasks of manually processing payment and then doing entries into your accounting system, figuring out which payment goes to which invoice, all of that gets fully automated. That itself is a huge benefit. But in terms of cost, no, there is no, if you're using our solutions, there is no additional cost to enable PayLink into collection management.
That's fantastic. So it sounds like you just need a little consulting time to get that turned on and
Yeah.
started. So that's pretty awesome. I know, Griffin, you said that you're seeing a lot more activity around this solution. So tell us a little bit more about what you're seeing.
Yeah, I think with any new integration, right, there's a little kind of a early phase where things are probably a little slower than you want them to be. But that's, we didn't expect this to come shooting out of the gate either. It's one of those things where we knew we had strong client lists on both sides from the Nodus and Professional Advantage side. And again,
Yeah.
kind of to that point there, Kara, you mentioned that a lot of people weren't familiar with it. So it was just kind of marketing the idea. But yes, we've really started to see it pick up here over the last 12 to 18 months, especially. You're starting to see that ROI come to fruition for those who have been using the integration for years now. So, just in terms of transactions that we've seen here, let's say over the last 12 months, basically from July 1 of last year to, let's say, June 1st, as of today, we've basically seen 4.5, 5x in terms of transactions
Wow.
over the last 12 months. So it really is quite cool to see everything coming to fruition here now. I know it's been a long while since we first started this integration, but good things take time, and we're starting to see that here with the Nodus
Yeah.
product and collections.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if people are looking for efficiencies and automation, so it helps with that.
And it's a
So,
no-brainer if you own both products, right? Just, hey, reach out to us and we can turn it on. It's as simple as that.
yeah, so either of you, right? They can reach out to Nodus or to Professional Advantage, right?
Yep, we'll work between one another. Absolutely. Yep. I turn a special key on just so everyone is aware that we have a special unique key that allows for the PayLink integration. But
Okay.
yeah, our relationship was, I think you can speak to it, is a pretty good one.
100%, absolutely. We work very closely with each other. Griffin is connected with a bunch of our team members over here as well. If anyone wants to see this in action, Griffin and someone from my team, usually McKenna and Griffin, work very closely. They can immediately, set up a time and show this
Yeah.
in action, how it works. And as Griffin said, that if you do have both applications installed, then it's literally a matter of just using that key that Griffin just talked about.
Awesome. So I'm kind of curious, what other trends are you seeing in AR automation or collections or just overall?
I'll go, yeah, I'll go first here on the collection side of things. And, I kind of mentioned this in our interview a few weeks ago, Carol, is getting time back in your day. More people, people want time back in their day, whether it be work or just leisure. So that's what we're trying to do with our products here, whether it be our collections tool or our archiving tool. The ultimate goal for us is to help you collect on your past due and future receivables, but also give you more time back in your day. Spend less time collecting, creating emails, and really automating your entire collection process. Then you can spend that time doing other GP activities or, again, personal activities. So, one of the trends that we've seen is customers asking how they can really automate their collection process or just make life easier in terms of communication with multiple collectors, especially in the world we live in today where a lot of people are working remote. It was, when you were in the office, it was probably a little easier to communicate those collection activities, but I myself am, sitting in my home office right now. And so if I can have a centralized spot for that collection communication, again, it just gives me time back in my day versus having to manually reach out to my other collectors and see what they're doing in terms of their activities. So with the integration of PayLink, it's, again, just made life easier for these collectors. It completely automates the process of those payments being automatically applied and collections management recognizing that. So yeah, again, kind of spoke to that a few weeks ago, but the integration and our tools in itself are going to give you time back in your day, whether it be for, GP activity or personal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I completely echo what Griffin just said. I 100% agree with that. And Griffin raised a really good point about working from home, which has become a new norm now. It was something that I remember a few years ago, prior to pandemic, like companies that did offer work from home options were like, oh, that's amazing. Like, how did that work? Now it's becoming more and more common. Now, I'm going to tie that with the earlier statement that I talked about that I made was on security side. So now imagine if you have staff working from home, you have to be very careful on how they take payments from their customers. So let's say you're running a company and you decide to have remote employees, and you, especially on your accounting team, you have an accounting clerk who is working from their home. Now, if they're responsible for following up on their outstanding AR or doing collections that day, how are they going to take payments? Are you going to allow someone to take payments over the phone while they're home? That's probably not the best idea. In terms of trends, so PCI compliance, which is security, has been a big important concern for many companies, is becoming a bigger and bigger deal now, especially like with there's so much fraud that happens and so many identity thefts and everything. So the companies are becoming more and more careful about this. So not just from work from home, but even in the office, if you are even if you're in the office, you wouldn't want to take credit. You shouldn't take credit cards over the phone unless if you have a walk-in type of environment, like if you're in a brick and mortar, like a customer-facing environment where you have customers walking in and swiping their credit cards to a terminal. That's fine. That's a different story. But if you're in a B2B type of environment where you're running an office and if you're taking payments from your customers, you should absolutely not ask them to email it to you. That's like the worst thing you can do. You shouldn't take it over the phone either. Because, and this is like a tip for our listeners over here. If you are talking to a call center and if somebody says, hey, yeah, okay, well, you want to make a payment, and somebody says, okay, read me your credit card number, think twice before you do that. Because remember, most phone lines are recorded for quality purpose or training or any purpose, or even just for security, they're being recorded. And if
Right.
you read a credit card number over a recorded line, now the credit card number is being stored in an audio file, but it's being stored on a server somewhere. That opens up a huge risk for the company. PCI Security Council is getting strict day by day on how companies handle the payment data. And obviously, this is all to mitigate and to reduce the risk of data breach. But now, like I said, like now more than ever, this has become an issue. So tools like these, which essentially allows you to take payments from customers without ever getting exposed to customers' payment data, it's becoming like a must need type of situation now.
Yeah, that's a good point about people working remote now and taking payments. You probably don't want your employees taking payments from their home office or bedrooms or wherever they work from home, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you have that credit card information exposed to other sources. Um, so do you have any other plans to work together in the future?
Yeah, I mean, as we kind of mentioned earlier, our relationship with one another is certainly very good. So we're communicating, pretty frequently, maybe not on a daily basis, but usually on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis. For us here at Professional Advantage, we have the well-established collections module in GP. And as many may or may not be aware, Microsoft basically reached out to us 2.5, 3 years ago and asked us to build basically the same product in Business Central as well. Now, obviously, a different ERP things are going to be a little different, but the ultimate goal remains the same. Collect on your past due and future receivables and save you time actually collecting. So we're in the process. We have a product out there today that is what we believe perfect from a day-to-day collecting standpoint, but we still need to add the automation. And we actually just had a new release of Collect 365 2 weeks ago. So the now focus is automation here. And then once we get to that, it's going to just allow again for better collecting. That's when we're going to probably feel comfortable enough to add the pay link side. Not that we couldn't do it today, but again, it comes down to just making sure we do things right. And we know the automation process is rather complicated and complex. So the development team wants to ensure we spend enough time doing that. And then the same thing, we'll want to make sure we spend the right amount of time on the Nodus PayLink integration. But assuming Nodus is on board, again, it's one of those things where it seems like a no-brainer. Like I said, we've seen our transactions 4 or 5x here over the last year, and no reason to think we couldn't continue that trend on the Business Central side of things.
We're 100% on board.
Love it.
Well, thank you both for joining today and talking about how you guys work together. And I did not realize that you guys had been working together so long with Nodus PayLink and collections management. So thank you for sharing.
Of course, yeah, thanks for having us here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you over here.
You can reach out to either Griffin or Fawaz, and their teams will help you with whatever point you're at with their AR automation or payment processing or collection management. So definitely reach out to them. And I do agree, it's a no-brainer. It doesn't cost a lot. You already have those products probably already. Take advantage of that. So, well, thank you again for joining today. And guys, we'll see you again in the next episode of ISV Talk. So, see you again, friends, in the near future. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Carol. Thanks, Paul.
Bye-bye.